My name is John Santoliquido. I'm a melanoma survivor. My initial diagnosis was in 1997. Came about where I was actually exercising in the gym, and I found some swollen, basically areas of my groin. Doctor that I went to just gave me some antibiotics, said it's probably just an infection you have. That didn't cure it after 2 different rounds, so they went and did a biopsy of that area. Once they did the biopsy of that area, they pulled out the 2 lymph nodes and found out that it was melanoma. I went to a dermatologist. They actually ended up finding my primary location on my right calf, which was also removed. And then from there, I was referred to actually the John Wayne Cancer Institute. Dr. Morton was my primary surgeon. Dr. Essner was the attending physician. So I was one of the first people that he saw, which was great because he's still my surgeon and oncologist to this day, 27 years later. And they had a clinical trial where they radiated melanoma cells with TB and then injected that into my groin and into my under my arms, into like the areas of the lymph nodes, to hopefully boost your immune system. I don't know exactly how well it worked, but again, my cancer's always been slow growing, which is a good thing. And about 2 years after that, as my regular scans, we found a spot on my right lung and my small bowel. The right lung spot actually was there initially when they compared it to the old first scans I got. So I feel like that even though the clinical trial never went anyplace, that it probably had some effect on my immune system to keep the cancer in check from spreading as much as it did. After that, of course, they did surgery on my small bowel, right lung. It was just a small little spot in the lung. And then I did high-dose interferon for a year, which was not a wonderful experience, basically. It was self-injections 3 times a week that I would give myself, and it basically was the worst flu that you could ever have. Very depressing, of course, but I had great support system, around me, family, friends. My family's in New York, but I had lots of close friends here, and I wanted to live my life, so I was always about just, continue to surf, play volleyball, enjoy myself. And the one amazing thing that happened with all of this, I did lose my job with my first position, and then I ended up starting a laser rental business. So I started renting laser equipment into the operating room and assisting doctors in surgery. So from there, it's like I bought cosmetic equipment, and then I own a med spa now. So with this one kind of bad experience, if you want to call it, it kind of changed the whole direction of my life as it is. And became fairly successful owner of multiple businesses. So it's been a good thing where I can kind of help people. And even though it's a cosmetic business, I still see people with melanoma, and I share my story with them, telling them they should go get it checked out. The doctors that I saw work hand in hand with each other as far as coming up with a plan specifically for me, which is, to me, it's really important to have, them communicating with each other. So, Dr. Essner is my surgical oncologist. Then I had Dr. O'Day, who was a medical oncologist, who was the pioneer for Optivo, the immunotherapy. And now I'm actually seeing Dr. Margolin along with Dr. Essner. So between those 2 doctors and also the nurse practitioners that work with them, they really are very thorough. They care, they make sure we're taken care of. You do get in and out a fairly good amount of time, but if you have questions, they're there to answer. They will call you at home. They're there for you, for the support that you need, which is super important when you're going through this. I mean, you have to be your own advocate as far as, asking all the questions that you can. I mean, for me personally, I always wanted to live my life as close as I could. I mean, I know this is a diagnosis that really, but there are lots of survival, and going to somebody that's reputable, that has a great reputation. I mean, Dr. Essner and the whole staff here has kept me alive since 1997, so I would put my life in their hands at any time. The important thing about, where the doctors here and the whole staff is, we kind of worked out a special plan for me, to keep it with my lifestyle. So I still wanted to be active. So going through chemo, my initial time, was not the most amicable thing that I really wanted to do. I really did not want to go through chemo. So doing this clinical trial allowed me to kind of have my own body fight the cancer by tricking the melanoma with TB to actually show that my immune system can fight it itself. So, and I think like this had a really great effect as far as my survival rate. But also it's like you're giving yourself some control. Like it's not just leaving it all up to the doctors. I want to have some control over what I'm going to do and have a say in it. And they allow me to do that, which is important. I mean, they're the specialists, but at the same time as they do respect the opinion of the patient as well. I mean, I did follow Dr. Essner when he went to Cedars-Sinai, and I followed him back here. And it's just nice to be back at this location because it really is a whole group working really well together, for my best outcome.